Before I introduce Mr. Wilson over there, we appreciate him coming out for tonight and doing a presentation. There is a few things that I would like to cover so everybody will know what's been going on with the park. We are getting ready for our car show and upcoming events, and we have ordered some new items. We have string bags that we're going to be having in the park in the general store. We'll also be having, get my favorite color out here, t-shirts. And this logo is one that our committee decided on, and I think these will be a nice seller for the park. Now, we are going to keep this logo in line for our members only. And if you would like to order long sleeve shirts or t-shirts in black or this color, you need to tell us tonight and what size. They are $14 each. We are not going to up the cost on them. We're just going to charge what they cost. And Tammy's going to keep a list here in a minute after the presentation. And if you need to order something or would like to order a t-shirt, just let us know. And we will take care of you at that time. Now, tonight we have Mr. Ron Wilson with the Master Gardener. And I'm going to turn it over to you, sir.
Thank you. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. Like he said, my name's Ronnie Wilson. I'm a Hopkins County Master Gardener. I just love saying it. Master. I got a badge. My name on it. They even spelled it right. R-O-N-N-I-E. Truth is, though, I am not a master of gardening. I'm just a schmo that likes to be outside and like to play in the dirt. I plant things, and I kind of like trying to keep them alive. And that's okay. I'm okay with that, because the Master Gardener program is not about creating an army of plant nerds. It's a community service group. It's run by the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Office, and that's a mouthful. Not too long ago, I remember, this is before inflation, that office was called the County Agent's Office. But it is what it is now. And the purpose of Master Gardeners, like I said, is community service. Obviously, we focus on gardening, but also on education. So the Master Gardeners, they don't know everything. One of the first things I learned when I was a Master Gardener wannabe was that no one knows everything. I mean, think about gardening and all the different things. There's trees, flowers, vegetables, grass, fertilizer, soil, bugs, diseases. I mean, nobody can know all of that. So they don't try to do that. What we learn in the Master Gardener program is how to research, how to find the answers to questions. People come up and say, you're a Master Gardener, I'm going to ask you this. I don't know, but I can find out. Master Gardener program teaches you which sites offer science-based information that's been tested in a lab and tested out in the field, so you get real-world stuff that'll actually work. Now, before I get into the big part of the program, I got two questions for the group. How many of you like gardening? Indoor, outdoors, potted plants, whatever?
Oh, flowers.
Flowers, yes, veggies, whatever. Good, that's a good number. My second question, and I need you really to be honest about this, even though it's a little painful. Raise your hand if you have ever killed plants but lived to tell the story. Okay, good. Everyone that raised their hand to either question, you could be a master gardener. So, I was talking with Joyce when we were talking about me coming here to speak, and I asked her, well, what should I talk about? She said, oh, gardening. And Joyce, forgive me if I don't let facts get in the way of this good story. So, well, okay, I'm thinking gardening, yeah, it's this big. Can you be more specific? What exactly? She said, oh, general gardening. Great. So I didn't give up. I said, well, what do you want me to talk about? What would you like to hear? She said, oh, I'm having trouble with fire ants. Bingo, good, that's an easy one. Fire ants, everybody wants them dead, okay? I have a handout here. And it says, a little print up here at the top, Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Office. This comes from Mario Villarino, he's the county agent. Okay. I'm not sure how many of these I have. Yeah, would you please? Let me have one copy. Yes. So I'll wait till everybody hand gets one.
If I spill that, I'd be so embarrassed.
And Mario was kind enough to print these up for me. I appreciate that. But if you've got one you're looking at it, it's 4 pages of very detailed information on fire ants. And I am not going to read it and explain every paragraph, and you're welcome. What I am going to do is talk about personal experience that Charlotte, my wife, and I had with fire ants. We moved to Hopkins County, it was 2017. And we have, we've got several gardens going. But we had a problem with fire ants. Lots of fire ants. Fire ants everywhere. So we did the best we knew how. Get a tub of Andro, get a little 1 tablespoon scoop. Here, this one. Oh, I missed this one. That one. And so, I guess everybody's done that, been there. And you come back the next week or so, this one's dead, this one's dead, but where'd this one come from? And that one. It kind of works. If you need something to do, have at it. We were at the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension office and picked up, wasn't this brochure, but it was another one about fire ants, where they talk about the Texas two-step. Anybody familiar with that? Okay. It's the way to go. This brochure, somewhere buried in here, says that this approach is 80 to 90% effective. And what it involves, you go to your favorite garden store, you get a handheld spreader, you fill it up with Andro, you set it on the lowest setting. On this one, there's 1. Some of them are 0. You don't want 0 because that's when the little door is completely closed. Put it on 1. The tub is full. You walk and you spread it. Now, on the lowest setting, you're not going to see very many pellets come out. If you see, I don't know, 5 or 6 every couple of steps, you're doing it right. And trust me, walking and cranking is not that difficult. It's a little harder than walking and chewing gum, but I think everybody can figure it out. You walk this way around your house, you walk this way around your garden until you've covered the landscape you want no fire ants in. You're done. In a couple of weeks, you'll go back and all the fire ant rats, all of them will be dead. The reason is these fire ants are voracious scavengers. And they'll take that one little pellet, and since it's not usual for them to see that. They think it's important. They'll take it back to the queen. Oh, look what I got for you. So she eats it. When the queen's dead, the mound dies. The best thing about this two-step method is when you broadcast an Amdro, that's just a brand name, it gets the mounds you don't see. The ones that are still underground that haven't come up. Then, in a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, if you see a mound, that's when you get your 1 tablespoon scoop and go treat that mound, or that one over there. There won't be very many. If you do the broadcast in the spring, maybe in, after the summer's heat, early fall, you will control your fire ants. Now, they're not all going to be dead. I'm sorry. I want them dead too. But this is the best thing that we found that actually works. Okay. That's what I have to say about fire ants and the two-step method. Any other things in the paper you could read?
So you say that's good for about half a year?
I think so. I would be safe. I would do it now and then later on in the summer. But it depends. You'll see if you see a lot more mounds that you don't want to treat one at a time, then do the broadcast again.
You ever use morphine?
It's I'm not familiar with it.
It's that white powder that smells so bad.
For the broadcast, it works best with the little pellets for me. You can't use the liquids. You can't use the real fine powder. You need the stuff that's designed for broadcast. Now, fire ants are done, we hope. And the next topic, we're going to talk about something plants cannot do without. Absolutely cannot do without. This is a substance that is odorless, it's colorless, it's tasteless, it's transparent, you can see through it. It can be a solid, it can be a liquid, it can be a vapor. But its best quality for plants is that it is a solvent. And a solvent is a substance that other substances can dissolve into. Everybody know what I'm talking about?
Water.
Water, yes, water. We can't live without it. Our bodies are mostly water. Now, water is the ultimate recyclable material. There's a thing called the water cycle. We had some coming in this evening, but we had some yesterday. Precipitation, where the water falls out of the sky, hits the ground, sun comes out. The next step is evaporation, where the water rises, goes back up in the clouds. When it gets high enough in the sky, you see a lot of clouds, it condenses, turns from a vapor back into a liquid. Precipitation, evaporation, and the cycle just goes and goes and goes. Now for plants, there is a part of the water cycle called transpiration, where leaves of the plant, they have, the best way to describe it, little pores on the underside of the leaves. And similar to pores on us, it helps the plant sweat. They actually put water vapor back into the air. Now, I would like to have two volunteers, really, but Charlotte, will you volunteer? I need one more volunteer. It's not a hard job. It's really not. You won't get wet, I promise.
Probably feel good.
This row represents the total amount of water on the earth. The earth is covered, 70% of the earth's surface is covered with water. And I'm sorry to say, tools, 97% of all the water on the earth is salt water. It's unusable for us. And so that 3%, that's what this piece of 2x4 represents. Can I get you to hold this? Thank you. Put it up next to this row. Oh, that's not 3%. This is 3%. Right over there. This is all the fresh water we have in the world. This rope is 10 feet long. That 2x4, well, 3.5 inches. That's not much. And of this amount of fresh water, 70% of this is tied up in the glaciers and the polar ice caps. And of the 30% that's left, 29% is tied up deep underground. It's unavailable. So that leaves us with 1% fresh water that we can drink, use, bathe with. And I'm not done. This 1%, 70% of this is used for agriculture. So we have 0.3% of the total amount of water in the world for our drinking, bathing, washing, whatever. Thank you. You did good. So I mentioned that water is the ultimate recyclable material. In my research for this topic, I read that the water that we drink is 4.5 billion years old. That's a lot of cycles back and forth. And the amount of water we have today is exactly the same as in creation, on the day of creation. It just keeps recycling, just recycling. So, for plants, since water is a solvent, the plants use the solvent, and the solvent occurs because the nutrients in the soil get dissolved in the water, your nitrogen, phosphorus, your potassium, all your other trace minerals, dissolved in water, the plant takes it up. The plants have a circulation system, and I do remember this from natural gardening training. It's xylem up, phloem down. And that's the way it works. The roots take up this water and sends it up through the plants. That's how they use water. Now, when you have dry soil, there ain't no water for the nutrients to dissolve into. So your plants suffer. They get small, they get weak, and eventually they die from dry. And when you have too much water in the soil, the plants literally drown. See, a perfect soil is 50% soil and 50% oxygen. Plants need oxygen. So when you have a half and half mixture, it makes the soil light and fluffy. Roots are able to grow very easy. Water filters down. Everything works great. You don't want your plants to drown. Now, as a master gardener, I've been asked a few times, it's pretty common. People will say, when do I need to water? Or how much should I water? The answer is, okay, when do I need to water? Well, it depends. When was the last time you watered? You know, how much should I water? That depends. What kind of plant is it? What sort of soil is it? Is it sandy soil? Sandy soil, the water just drains through. If you've got clay or semi-clay, like we have here in this county, the water tends to sit and stay longer. It depends on your soil condition. Is it wet or is it dry? How long has it been since you watered? And also, it depends a lot on the type of plant you have. I mean, obviously you don't water a cactus the same way you would an orchid, okay? So you have to know your plants and its requirements a little bit. In general, rule of thumb is put your finger, this is your soil tester, stick it in the dirt. No, I shouldn't say dirt, it's soil. Dirt, what you find around the baseboards. It's soil. So stick your finger in the soil. You know, if it's moist, down, an inch or maybe an inch and a half, you're okay. But if it's dry, or if it's just moist on the top, it's probably time to water. If you have a plant that is wilting, it's time to water right now. Rain in the forecast for tomorrow does that plant no good. If it's wilting, that means it's not getting the water from the roots, it's lacking in nutrients, and it will crater completely pretty soon. Now, when you're watering, I know everybody's been waiting to see what that was up here. This is my own artwork. It's a version of a picture that's found in the Master Gardener Handbook. So, we're talking about how often to water. If you have an automatic sprinkler system set to go off at 8 a.m. every day, that's not good. Your plant may live, but look at the roots. They're shallow. And if you miss a day or two, this part of the soil dries out pretty quickly. Your plants will suffer. However, if you water less frequently, but for a longer period of time and deeper, and this really for lawns especially, look at the roots. The roots go to where the water is, and if there's water further down, they're going to keep growing. A bigger, stronger root system makes for a bigger, stronger plant. Very important. You want to always water the roots, not the leaves. Wet foliage contributes to disease, fungus, and other things. With the weather we have coming up, I'm talking June, July, August, you want to make sure you water in the morning, early. We've all seen dew. Dew is nature's watering system, and it's always in the morning. That way, if there's some on the leaves, they have a chance to dry before the hot sun hits them. And like I said, water the roots, not the leaves. Get the water down as far as you can go. Use your finger tester. And this also saves you water. You'll have to do it less frequently, but it will make everything grow. This is good for house plants too. With summer coming up and everybody trying to water their lawn, yeah, deeper. Maybe I've seen several people just recommend 1 inch a week. And that'll be turning your sprinklers on and let it go for 30 minutes or an hour, once a week. That'd be all it would need. That's all I have to say about that. Do we have any questions?
I have a question, but it's not a trick question or a foolish question. I really wonder because I've always tried to save water. Don't run this thing too long, run the shower, leave the hose on. But if we still have all the water we started with, we're not really wasting water.
You're misusing it, you might say, not using it as wisely as possible. But yeah, you hear that a lot. We're going to run out of water. I mean, Dallas County's trying to build a huge reservoir because they're running out of water. Well, they have big companies that run their sprinklers in the rain. They've got miles of pipelines that leak. And, it's good to save water. But, I kind of haven't decided on that yet. It's not wasted because it will recycle. But I'm not sure we use it as wise as we could. Yes, ma'am.
What's your opinion on rainwater collection?
My opinion? The rainwater that you've collected is very good for plants.
Okay, but should it be filtered back out again?
Filter? Or would
Like from like coal, not coal, but charcoal, like different layers. No, I've just been told it should be.
You can, I mean, if you go to the trouble to catch rainwater, yeah, filter it if you want. I really don't know, as a master gardener. I could research that,
Okay.
but,
I
at
just
home,
was told it was a lot of work.
yeah, Charlotte has a 5-gallon bucket rainwater collector. We put it under one of the runoffs from our roof. We use it straight out of the bucket.
Okay.
Yeah, and people will tell you the city water, because it's got the chemicals, and I understand all that. May not be the best, but my plants seem to live on it. Rainwater collecting, now, we've been to Central Texas, Fredericksburg, where we talk to people, they have 1,000-gallon cisterns, because they collect the rainwater. But they have room to collect it, and they don't get rain very often. We get plenty of rain most of the time here. So that'd be up to you. If you want to collect it, then you want to filter it, that's fine, but we use it just straight out of the bucket.
I've just been told there's a lot of pollutants and you're supposed to filter.
Well, if it comes from rainwater, I think a lot of the pollutants have already been filtered through the cycle. I mean, you've heard of acid rain or something. I mean, I don't think that's a problem here, but I don't know for sure. But you asked my opinion, so
Yes.
I'll tell you. I don't know. Okay, if there's no other questions,
I got one.
okay.
How often should he, put fertilizer down on the plant, on the lawn?
Fertilizer.
Fertilizer.
Okay. Fertilizer, Neil Sperry. Everybody heard of Neil Sperry? Neil Sperry. He's probably my gardening go-to guru. I mean, he's incredibly smart, incredibly nice man. And I remember him saying on his radio show some time ago, put out fertilizer April 1st, May 1st, June 1st. Skip July 1st, August 1st, because it's a hot month. The grass is trying to survive and doesn't need the boost that fertilizer will give it. And then come back for a fall feeding September 1st. So once a month, and that's what I do.
When should I kill all the weeds?
What is a weed?
Dandelions, I mean, I've got little violets that just come up all over the front yard, and I hate them, but, I mean.
Well, I think of a weed as any plant that's growing where you don't want it.
Yes.
So you could have roses be weeds for growing somewhere else. They're growing where you don't want them. Okay. Now, your question was, how do you get rid of them? When?
The weeds.
Well, depends. What kind of weed is it? There are 3 kinds of weeds, and each kind takes a different herbicide.
Oh.
So generally, for the ones that you mentioned, dandelions, henbit, that sort of stuff, you'll use something with the chemical 2,4-D in it. That's real common around here. People spray it on their pastures frequently. Yeah. And that, you probably, my opinion, spot spray if you can, because that way you don't harm the good plants that are in. They're in your lawn.
Fixing the lawn for 4 or 5 years, maybe longer, maybe 10 years. I set out and I pick weeds, and I go over the entire yard to get weeds. And Tom says, people are gonna call because you're laying on the ground. And I do, I just keep going and reaching and
It
picking
sounds
up
like you're
weeds.
experienced. Have you tried hiring yourself out?
It's all I can do to get my money on.
Yeah, but some of those weeds that you're talking about have little bitty tiny bulbs under the ground, and you pull them out forever as long as those bulbs in there, they'll be right
Oh, I
back.
go after those violets, they get
Nut
some
grass.
really sick.
Nutgrass.
And
I'm talking about.
nutgrass,
Okay,
yes.
right now, and it's not too late, but it's close, put out a pre-emergent. And what that does, that's a chemical that stays in the soil and keeps the weed seeds from germinating. Now, it won't do anything for the weeds you already see, but it will keep the weeds from germinating, the ones that come out later.
You know, the curly, leafy, purple plants that come.
Henbit,
Is that what that is?
yeah, little scallop leaves,
Mhm.
yep, henbit.
We got a lot of that too.
Bees love that,
Oh, yeah.
chickens love that,
They eat it?
yeah. When I pull them out of the garden,
I
I
guess
take
they
them,
chicken.
I take them to the chicken coop.
Okay.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
What about, I call them stickers, different people call
Grass
them
birds.
grass
Grass
bird,
birds.
whatever. I have got,
Pre-emergent. It's too late to do it now for those. You
How
need to
big
put the
did-
pre-emergent out, I believe it's in the fall,
oh, in the fall.
yeah.
Okay. Is there a certain one? I've been battling this since I built my house, I mean,
Oh,
for
yeah.
8 years.
Well, with pre-emergent, it's still gonna be another year. You'll notice it decrease next spring when they start coming out. On each bottle, package, bag of herbicide is a label that will tell you specifically what chemical you're putting on and how to use it. And these labels actually are the law, they're not just suggestions. So if you, say, go to your big box store or something to buy herbicide, weed killer, whatever, read the label. And you can save a lot of money and have a lot better results. You don't need to use more because once it's dead, it's dead. You don't get dead, double dead. So just read the label, follow the directions. And the label will tell you which plants it will kill. And it'll tell you which plants don't put this near those plants.
But fall is when I need
Yeah,
it.
I think so. I mean, I could be wrong. I haven't had a problem with those in a while, so I'm not real familiar with the grass burgers.
We have grass bird trouble with, I put out bayland on Tuesday because it was gonna rain Wednesday, and it did, but I've been waiting about 2 weeks to put it out because of the rain.
Yeah.
So, and it cost me $47 for this bag. You telling me I wasted my $47?
No,
Good.
you were outside, you were playing in the dirt. No, seriously, honestly, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it will help if there's any grass birds that start to germinate. But the key is to get this pre-emergent out before the seeds become viable.
Right.
Okay, well, I see a table of goodies over there, and I haven't had any yet. So if there's no more questions, I'm going to end, oh, one more. I can tell you. I
What's
can
about
see.
that plant swap?
Oh,
What?
Hopkins County Master Gardeners.
Oh, I remember.
We have a plant swap, and I believe it's the first Saturday in May. We also have a monthly presentation, the third Thursday of each month at the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Office. And this Saturday, the Hopkins County Master Gardeners are going to set up a table at Atwood's where we have some brochures, and we're going to set up right next to the vegetables and flowers and talk to people about their plants and whatever. If anybody is interested, I do have a few soil test kits over here. You're welcome to take some. And I have a little memo about the Hopkins County Master Gardener meetings. If any of you are interested in becoming Master Gardener, we'd like to see you at our meetings.
Does it cost a lot of money to take the course?
You remember, Jerry? I
Seemed like it was around 200.
Yeah, I think
But they-
175.
It's a really good book that comes
Yeah.
with it.
You'll get
And
a
there's
book and place everything.
maybe 10 classes.
I think it's 6 weeks, 1 day a week. And each
Could have been,
class
but
that
I was
you go-
thinking it's longer. I was thinking we have,
Each class that you go through is a different subject.
yeah.
And each class, in that 1 day, you cover as much information as 1 semester of college. It's a lot of information.
And they are doctors.
Yeah, yeah, all these people are
And
experts.
there's some presentations from,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, it's nothing to be afraid
normal
of.
people.
Actually, I was nervous, weren't you? Okay, I was. I thought, you know, it's gonna be a lot of big words, people talk it down to you, but no, it was great, it was really interesting. So, more questions?
Okay, we're gonna plant some flowers and have to buy potting mix to do it. Do we buy potting mix with fertilizer or without, or does it matter?
Okay. Potting mix, okay, is it going into a container?
Yes, let's say a hanging basket.
Okay, yeah, potting mix, not potting soil.
Right.
Okay. If you look on the bag, I worked at Lowe's for 9 months in the garden department, and I was amazed at the crap they were selling. Seriously, potting mix, look at how much fertilizer's in there. It's probably gonna be 0.5, 0.01, there's 3 numbers on the bag of fertilizer. It's minimal. Buy the potting mix, don't worry about it. When your plant needs to be fed, feed it.
With what, like Miracle Grow or something?
You can. For containers, probably better, my opinion,
Okay.
use liquid fertilizer. And there's plenty of liquid fertilizers out there. And again, it depends on the plant. What kind of plant is it? You want a lot of flowers?
Yeah.
You want a lot of green?
Flowers.
Okay. With that, you're looking for a fertilizer with a higher middle number. There'll be 3 numbers on each bag of fertilizer, or can, or container, whatever you buy, and it tells you which ingredients are in there and how strong those ingredients are. But yeah, potting mix, check it and see, but I think you'll find there's not much fertilizer in there. I wouldn't be afraid just to put it in, fertilize it later on your own. Okay,
So,
one more.
Have you heard anything about the spruce weed plant killer? They've been advertising it just lately, and
It's
it's,
a brand.
yeah, it's
That's a
a brand.
brand?
It's a brand of weed, like, what was the other one they took off the market?
Glyphosate?
No, what did they take off the
What the
market?
one is it that killed the eagles and the?
That caused
Oh,
cancer.
DDT?
Roundup? Yeah.
Roundup.
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 I think it's a new Roundup kind of thing,
Okay.
but.
Well, there again, read the label. See what the active ingredient is. See, I'm a fan of Roundup. The test that you mentioned caused cancer,
I have.
that was done in commercial things that, thousands of times more than the recommended rate. You use it, I've used it a long
I've got
time,
max quantities of
12,
concentrated
15 years.
Roundup.
Use it, read the label. It is the law, it's not a suggestion. Read the label. Okay, you had one to know.
so if the middle number is for flowers in bloom,
Yes,
the first number is for leaves.
yes.
What's the last number?
Overall strength of the plant. Potassium helps with the xylem flowing down. It helps with the plant circulation, better able to take liquid from the roots up through the plant. Yeah, sure. Okay, one more.
How long does a bag of fertilizer last?
On the conditions where it's stored.
Okay. How much are you putting out at one time? How big an area do you have? How often do you put it out?
We still have it, so not often. But it's a bag about this big,
Yeah,
about that thick.
okay, so
It's just fertilizer
50
for the lawn.
pounds?
It's been inside a building, it's been, but hot, but not exposed to sun.
Yeah.
It's been,
Are you talking about the expiration date?
yeah.
Expiration.
Yeah.
There's no expiration
No?
date. If you keep it like you've done inside, out of the sun and rain, it should be okay. I've got some that's old that congeals, kind of like a rock.
Close.
Yeah, I'll just break it up,
Still
spray
loose.
it.
It'd be good.
You know, plants aren't picky.
Okay.
They don't care. Okay, I'm getting pretty hungry. So.
I just have one thing to say. My phone totally bit the dirt. And I have lost all the dates of everything that we've got coming up. So somebody put those dates back out, please.
It's on our website.
Is it the one that's?
The
Thank you
Hopkins
very
County.
much, sir.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Very much.
And if anyone's interested, we have soil test kits. Very good to have before you go spending $47 on fertilizer. May or may not need.
I heard that.
We enjoyed it very much. To you members, if you
I bet you have
want to order a
Little
t-shirt,
sandy
send
soil.
Tammy, give her sizes
Yeah,
and
because they
colors.
brought it in. They brought it in.
Yeah.